This is a tutorial on creating a new assessment. This will be a short tutorial on how we're going to set up the initial assessment, and then we will have more videos on individual question types. So this first video, in order to access your assessments, you're going to go to the top right to your waffle and select assessments. It will take you to this page here where you can search for assessments. You can also create a new one by going to the left-hand side and selecting New Assessment. You'll then have a page pop up that is going to allow you to set parameters for this assessment and preview it. So we can select a campus, a grade level, and a course to tie this assessment to. We can then title it. For today's purposes, I'm going to title this Practice. We can select a language and a type of assessment. And for today, we're going to select Common Formative Assessment, but this may be a benchmark or a district assessment. And this is the number of administrations, so this is our first administration. You then have the option to enter cutoff accountability scores. So these are the STAR accountability scores that you can enter for your particular subject area. So this is a 7th grade social studies exam, so I may choose to use the 8th grade social studies accountability scores. You can then enter a duration. And then you have a few other options, and these are more for the administration of the assessment. Resumable will allow students to resume the exam. Show Submit Later will allow students to come back and submit later. This is great for multi-day exams. Allow Review, students will have the option to do that. These options here are going to affect how other teachers or staff members can see your assessment in Edugence. So this will allow people to preview the assessment. Cloning will allow someone to make a copy of this assessment or clone it to use it themselves, and assign students. Lockdown Browser is a feature within Edugence that will take students completely out of their exam if they choose to bring up another tab or another application when they should be working on that exam. It locks down their browser. These options down here in the circles are more student sides. This is what the students are going to see when they are in their exam. You have a quick view of a question or item. You have toggling of questions. Students can highlight using this feature, strike through, or a scratch pad. So if you want these chosen, if you want students to have those options, you have to select them or deselect them. There is a calculator, and when you select this, you can actually choose a different type of calculators. There's 3 options currently. A ruler, protractor. This X squared is actually where you can put a formula sheet or a strategy chart or something that your particular content area utilizes. There are some accessibility features such as a magnifying glass, color contrast. This here is a question note, so if students want to make notes on questions and come back to them. A line reader, graphing paper, and a dictionary. Here you'll see additional versions. So if you want to choose to shuffle questions, so if you have multiple students, you have concerns about maybe memorizing answers or looking off of someone else, you can choose to shuffle questions and then select how many versions you want of that test. So if I want to shuffle the questions and have 5 different versions, I would enter that here. You can then enter directions that will appear for your students when they pop open their test. So these may be, read everything carefully, look over your answers. These could even be instructions on what to do after your exam. You can also enter images here. You can enter multimedia or even audio or text-to-speech. So there's some options to enter here. Once you're complete with this, you can choose to preview what that will look like by choosing the purple button in the top right. You can choose to save it if you're satisfied with that with the green, or if you want to start over, choose delete. After you've set up all your parameters, that is when we can select questions. Selecting questions using the purple button in the bottom right will allow you to select from the test bank questions that are already populated. New question, which we'll explore in a further video, is when we create our own question to be added to this exam. As you populate questions, they will appear down here in the bottom for you to review. When you're completely done with your assessment, you can save, and it will appear in the assessments list under the parameters you set up here. So you can search it using a title or a course or a subject. If you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.